The breakdown in your employee's performance is easily solvable using these three techniques. Hello, welcome everyone to the Leadership Launch series. My name is Spencer. This is the series where I help leaders build themselves and build their teams in order to help them smash through any of their milestones that they want to achieve. Today, we're going to go over the performance breakdowns that you may find in any of your subordinates. So, leaders often have three different issues that comes with having an employee, especially if they're just bringing them into their organization, their business, or whatever project that they want to work on. The first one being performance. And this is what they can't do, right? So this is stuff that they can't do, or at least can't do yet. Thus, and this is relatable to any skills or knowledge gaps. The second one being behavior. So what they won't do. This is often related to attitude and accountability, as just, again, a couple of examples here. And the third one is systems. So no support. And this is often referred to by the resources that supports them in carrying out their tasks and the structures in place. The thing is that as a leader, when you deal with these areas, these are very easy to break down in terms of how it's going to affect you, your team, and them. You gotta first understand where it comes from. So for the first one, again, this is the solution. These will be the solutions to all three of them. Just keep that in mind. So the first one, if performance is the issue, then planning is the solution. What I mean by that is when you look at planning is making sure that you have the written, the hands-on, and the verbal experiences ready for them to experience to close any of those skill gaps and knowledge gaps. Okay? So these are often in the forms of videos. This is often in the form of copy me. This is often in the form of audio, like recordings and reviewing and reflecting on these recordings. You must do the planning to have all three of these because, again, like the book Siddhartha said, you can't teach people wisdom, only encourage them to take the paths to it. So when you set up experiences for them in a written, hands-on, and verbal manner, ideally you want all three, then that closes that knowledge gap just that much more. It closes the skill gap just that much more. And yes, it will take time to do. That's the quickest way you can do it is by having all three prepared for them to do at once or as in a sustainable, consistent manner so that they do soak in and grasp the experience and therefore the wisdom that comes from that. And that's how you can deal with performance. If you are dealing with behavior as the issue, then the solution is thinking. Some of you may be puzzled by that. Why is it thinking? I'll tell you why. When you do the thinking for any of your employees, what you're really pointing out to them is thinking about the indirect or the invisible costs. I'll say that. So the invisible costs that makes them struggle, that puts more stress on them. It also is helping them think above themselves. Sorry, enroll them in thinking more than themselves. And the last one being commit them, have them be part of the solution. So initiates self impose solution. When you do the thinking this way, where you explain the invisible cost to them, like how it really affects them, because again, people are selfish creatures. That's okay. You have to work with that and understand that people most of the time are just thinking of themselves. So, what is the invisible cost to them? Is it injuries? Is it stress? Is it having to work on their mistakes again? Like, what's the actual cost to them? Enroll them in more than themselves. So, in terms of their own goal and their own vision and what their goals were for this quarter or with the company, how does this affect their team members? People don't like others suffering at the cost of what they do. So, if you explain how it affects their team members, then they're more likely to change that behavior in the first place. And initiate self imposed solutions. A lot of the time, leaders will be telling them and embarking them, expressing the order of what they want to have happen instead of initiating self-imposed solutions. And you do this through curious questions. When you do this through curious questions, and puts the solution on them, and when they hear themselves say it, they think it's their own idea, and therefore they're more committed to doing it on their own. And that's how you deal with the behavioral issues. That's complete. Done so. Last one plays into all three of these, where now that you're dealing with the system, the solution is providing material, right? Is providing the solution. You're providing resources. So providing system slash resources. It sounds so obvious, except you won't believe how many times I'll ask someone like, well, what have you done to set them up to succeed? And they say, well, I sent them a text. I have like a Word document. Oh, let me see the Word document. And the document is 3 years old, hasn't been updated in years, and it's completely not even in line with what they do anymore. Here's the thing. Well, and this is where you need to be providing, okay? As a leader, you will be need to provide the time, the energy, and tangible resources. Okay, tangible resources, which I'm going to preface up to date on what they need. Okay. And when you do all these things, that all in all creates the system, it creates the wherewithal to help them do whatever they need to do without you there. When you're providing, you want to provide so much that they can trust their own judgment to succeed in whatever they're doing with very minimal risk or consequence, typically. I also encourage people making their own, like providing their own resources sometimes so that they take more energy and it gives them more appreciation for what the leader does. But if you're looking for a quick fix, again, provide the time, the energy, and the resources, tangible resources for them. So provide the time, coaching. For sales reps, this is role play. For accountants, this is looking over work, whatever the case may be. You need to provide the time to give them that one-on-one. Okay, you need to give the energy. So this is really sitting down with them, and let's go with the coaching one-on-one. You need to make sure that you give your best energy to them in those circumstances because they may be dealing with something, whether it's personal or professional. They may need to work through understanding something, and it's going to test your patience. It's going to drain your energy, and you need to give the best to them because that impacts the quality of which they take away from you. So you need to make sure that you give the best energy you can so that it provides more value of impact. And then tangible resources. This goes back to the written, verbal, audio. It needs to be something that they can visualize. It needs to be something that they can see, that they can hear, that they can touch. Not quite sure if they need to taste it, but smell even. If you're working in a bakery, like they need to be able to see those tangible things so that they are involved in as many senses as possible. You want to involve as many senses as possible because that ingrains in them the systematic patterns and behaviors they need to take in order to get better results. For goodness sakes, please make sure that you keep them up to date. I know that people are lazy, and I get it. Work it into your day. This is often something that is a high leverage task, because once you do this, you won't have to do it again until the next update. And the next update can be a yearly thing. If you do it for the year, if you do it once a quarter, the more times you reiterate the system and refine it, the better it's going to become. So I prefer to do it once a quarter, once my teams have had a chance to really play with it and break it. Because once they break it, I can rebuild it. And if I keep rebuilding it and they focus on using that new system every 3 months, that it works perfect for my team. Um, so again, please, for the love of God, make it up to date. That's how you're gonna win. That's how you're leveraging other things besides your time, so that it takes less energy and takes less of your time in order to do it. You must make these tangible resources and include all the senses. Now, previously said before, there are invisible costs that they just can't see. And they can't see those invisible costs because they're not in your role. They're not the leader. They see your decisions, they don't see your choices. So you need to reflect that about what their choices are. You need to reflect the invisible costs that affect them. And if you're having a hard time really stepping out of the just talking about loss of income or being fired, then here's a few examples for you. So some invisible costs are the following: stress, wasted time, loss of income, like I've said previously, injuries, maintenance. All these are examples. Now, here's the kicker: because people are selfish and because they think about themselves all the time, you must really associate this with the actual cost. Don't do surface level. Don't do surface level where it's like, hey, if you don't do your job properly, it's going to add stress because the boss is going to be on your back. That's fear based. Yes, fear can work, but that is not how you want to do it. It's like, look, when you're more stressed, you're going to make more mistakes. And when you make more mistakes, all of a sudden, it's just going to keep piling up. And you're going to feel a really heavy burden on yourself coming in and out of work. And it's going to affect your dynamics with the team. You're not going to be able to enjoy yourself here at work. I want you to enjoy yourself here. So much better than surface level. Wasted time. Look, if you're wasting your time, you're not making as many phone calls, and therefore you're not making as much money. Okay. So that doesn't work because that's surface level. Yes, even though that's what it is, a better way of saying it would be, hey, look, when it wastes this much more of your time, I know that you have this goal of this. If you keep wasting time like this, you're only going to be able to hit 50% of your target or 60% of your target. And I don't know, like, is that what you want? No? Okay. Then what do you think you can do so that we can work around this? Or what do you need from me so that you won't be wasting time like this again? Right? Again, keep in mind, you're only managing the substance, not the style. If someone's on their break and they're not using their break productively, that's on them. That's not on you. Okay. And this seems obvious, but this is something that I had to deal with the past manager, where I was allowed a whole hour long break. In my contract, it said I was allowed an hour long break plus little breaks. And I would spend that whole break playing ping pong, and they'd get upset with me that I wasn't on the phones during my break. So again, keep that in mind. Don't simply say, hey, if you do it this way, it's going to waste time. Show them the cost. Show them the accumulative impact of how that wastes time. Show them what they're losing because the time is being wasted in this way. Show them that it adds to their loss of income, their injuries, their maintenance, their stress. You must show it. In fact, for all of these, you must relate all of these to the other. You must, if you equate all 5 of these to the other, it's like, hey, look, it's going to cause more stress because you're wasting time. It's going to cause loss of income. Not to mention, if you have a loss of income, you can't pay for injuries. And it's just going to take longer for you to maintain, which again is going to add more stress. That's so much better to them than anything else. So this is the core 5 that I use. Maintenance. Hey, look, if you're taking more time to maintain something, it's going to cause you more stress. It's going to waste more time. You're going to lose more income. Not to mention, you're going to end up with more, if you're not maintaining, right? You're going to end up with more injuries, and it's not good for anyone. Injuries. Hey, look, if you're not maintaining your health and you get injured, that's going to cause you more stress because you're losing your income and you're also wasting time trying to recover because you do need time to recover properly, and therefore you're going to lose out on all this. So these are the core 5 you want to use when addressing any of those behaviors, but you need to make sure that's not surface level and it's related to them. And when you use those core 5 all with each other, then it builds such a stronger case for them and yourself compared to the surface level, like, hey, it's going to cause you more stress because, you know, you got to come at it from, look, gaining an injury causes more stress because you have loss of income, because you don't have time to recover, because you now realize that you're not maintaining. Even though I am using because, it's not simply service level. You know, there's another level of depth. It's applicable to their life. That's how you gotta use it. Whenever you meet resistance in performance, behavior, and not providing, and systems from one of your members, it's because of it stems from not growing, changing, committing, or improving how they operate amongst the project, the company, the organization, whatever you want to call it. And you need to figure out, why are they not committed to growing? Why are they not committed to changing? Why are they not committed? Why are they not trying to improve? You need to figure that out, because I guarantee you that one of these things is geared towards thinking that it's not for them, thinking that it doesn't benefit them. As soon as you can show that these benefit them and truly benefit them in their life with the impact you want them to have and they want to have for themselves, then all of a sudden these start to go away. And if you still have a problem with them even after this, well, then clearly they don't want to be part of the project. They don't want to be part of the organization, and you need to get rid of them. Thank you all again for watching. I really appreciate you guys spending your time here. Comment down below, what are issues that you're having with your employees, whether it's performance, behavior, or even the systems at work. And make sure to subscribe so I can see you all in the next video.